Hello. We're back at it again, assholes. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's show these motherfuckers how it's done. So the movie we're going to review this week, this is the Soul film. We did have another one planned, but we're going to make that for next week because I want Uncle Bill to see it. He hadn't seen it yet.
See, that's a bunch of bullshit. Like I'd almost gotten out of having to see that movie, and then your ass going to hold it over for next week.
I look at it like this: if I had to experience it, you're going to have to experience it.
What is there to experience, though? I guarantee I could have done a review of that film without having seen it.
You wanted to. That's what you wanted to do.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. Because here's the thing. Lesbian vampire films, I don't give a shit when they came out. They're the same film over and over again. Like, it's fucking titties, vampires, there's going to be some simulated sex. I mean, it's the same film.
Well, you're going to review it next week, though.
No!
Yeah! But anyway, the movie
is the plot going to blow me away?
It is. Oh! It is. It's Daughters of Darkness, vampires. From England. That's one of Stuart Feedback Andrew's favorite movies.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Even though it doesn't have a plot at all, he could definitely, make up a bunch of nonsense and say that it did. Oh. Anyway, the movie we have to review tonight is an all-time classic. Isn't that right, Uncle Bill?
It certainly is. It is like among probably the 3 or 4 films that defined an era of horror films, and this is definitely one of them. This is the Nightmare on Elm Street on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And, I mean, let's be honest. You got Michael Myers, you got Jason Voorhees, maybe Leatherface, maybe, and then Freddy Krueger. I mean, those are the icons of the 80s, 70s, and 80s.
Had all the franchises hit in the 1980s. And oddly enough, I mean, you would think because as far as the amount of money per movie goes, Nightmare on Elm Street was like the most popular as far as I know. I mean, the fourth film made something ungodly like $40-some-odd million at the box office.
Yeah. And
it's kind of weird that they're just now remaking the movie that comes out on the 30th. And in conjunction, of course, the only positives that come from these remakes is the inevitable Blu-ray or DVD special edition of the movie. And we did get a Blu-ray edition. I don't know if it's a special edition as far as extras go, but we're going to talk about it. We might as well talk about the movie itself first. The film, and why I think the film works so well, is it's a film that essentially anybody that's ever had a nightmare, experienced anything really scary in their dreams, would sort of, recognize that, and they would feel more of a part of the film. That's the most ingenious part of the movie, because the movie starts off with a group of friends. One of them, Tina, is the first one that actually comes forward with the first of which to actually tell, the others about the nightmares would be Tina, who ultimately is the first to receive the slasher glove, I guess, from Freddy. And as it all rolls along, the movie rolls along, each of the friends have had nightmares about this same man, just a really burnt up face and the red and green sweater and the razor gloves and all that. And the film goes along these lines as far as this, like, if you dream about Freddy, he gets you in your dreams, you're dead for real, Uncle Bill. So, and I think that the whole plot of the film sort of, from Wes Craven, that it came from something that really happened, that he read in like some newspaper in like England or Australia or something like that.
It was something about a Cambodian kid that his family he'd been saying that he was having nightmares and like he was staying up all the time and taking pills to stay up, and then so he finally goes to sleep and the next day they find him and he's dead. I think that was like the basis for the whole story.
Yeah. And the movie, it's one of those deals where this was like, this one and the second one, I think, were the only Nightmare on Elm Street films that actually attempted to be scary. I think after part 2, it was more along the lines of a camp movie. And I'd heard initially that was the reason that they didn't want to use Robert Englund in the remake, because he was now seen as more of a comedic villain that just, uses one-liners, and it did, and honestly, it did get pretty silly.
When it got to like part 5 and 6, it was, completely out of hand, really, with all the jokes and stuff, and it was completely not anything near what the first movie was, and even the second movie. I always thought the second movie he was even like darker in the second movie than he was in the first movie. But that's, to me, is the reason why this film works. I mean, the idea behind it is great. I give Wes Craven a lot of credit, but like the fact that Robert Englund played Freddy that he put so much effort into constructing the character the way that he did, and that he was a little pretentious, and he was like a dramatic actor that did a lot of Broadway, and I don't know if it was Broadway, but he did a lot of theatrical like play stuff.
Yeah.
He brought like that kind of over exaggeration to the role of Freddy, so that's why you get a lot of the things like the way that Freddy walks, and the way that he acts, and the smile, and just the whole being that is him. To me, that's what made this movie work, and what would make all those movies work up until a point.
And I think that this movie especially gets sort of overlooked. Like everyone says, Part 3 is their favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Part 3 is a really fun movie, and it's got a lot of good parts in it. But people forget that this original movie is actually pretty damn scary. They did a lot of stuff in this. They didn't show Freddy's face a whole lot. He was more along the lines of, you see his shadow, which I did sort of like the cover, which, you don't really see Freddy that much in the movie. And the makeup on Freddy, when you do see him, is vastly different than what it ended up being in 3 and 4 and 5, which it's pretty much just Robert Englund with just like these little, appliances put on his face, and it's not really it doesn't look like a whole makeup job or anything like it was in the other movies.
I do think, though, that a lot of people seem to forget that, like, right before he made this film, Wes Craven was making stuff like Last House on the Left and The Hills Have Eyes and stuff like that. I mean, that was the stuff he was making up to this point. He really hadn't had a great deal of any kind of commercial success up to this film. So I think that this is like one of the only examples of when somebody comes up with an idea and it's really still like raw, and he doesn't try to pull any punches, but he also has some sort of like money for studio backing to make a film. So you get the New Line Cinema money in there, but you got like his idea and him still trying to be like really subversive with the way that he's making these films, and it kind of came together, and like it was a perfect combination of the two, and that rarely ever happens, and I don't think it ever happened again for Craven. Like, I think Scream was way too polished, and it wasn't really even trying to be anything like, making kind of statement about anything. It was just trying to be like a fun movie and kind of goofy and make fun of the horror genre and stuff like that and bring it into the film. But with this one, like, I mean, there is some nasty stuff in this movie still, like to this day. It's not like a light-hearted movie.
The first kill in the movie, when you see Tina, I mean, that's a violent fucking kill scene. You know, people don't really think about that. Another aspect of the movie that I always thought was really creepy, and they do it in the sequels, but it's, I guess with Wes Craven on board, he really knew when to utilize that creepy piano score in just the right spots, and it really got you into the mood of the film. And it sort of, all these movies, like, I don't know if you felt the same way, sort of feel like a nightmare or a dream or something, and that music sort of helps that as well. And I've always, and this was one of the rare exceptions to where I saw this movie first, And it was never like that with like Halloween or Friday the 13th, or even I don't remember if I saw Texas Chainsaw before Part 2 or not, but this was like the first Nightmare on Elm Street movie I saw, so I didn't really know Freddy as like just a one-liner speaking comedian. I knew when I saw Freddy, I was scared to fucking death of him, as a kid. So I've always had like a special place in my heart for this movie, and I think it's damn time that this thing was released on Blu-ray, because this movie's a really well made film too, and as far as like the makeup effects and all that stuff, all of it really holds up pretty well. I mean, I don't know what you think about that as well. It's like just the technical look of the movie.
Yeah, another thing I noticed when I was watching the Blu-ray of it, though, was in a lot of films that I've seen Blu-rays in that came out around that era, like it's the Blu-ray, and Day of the Dead is one of these movies. The Blu-ray quality is so good that you can really tell that their makeup appliances that the people are wearing, and you can see the special effects. But I think Craven, to his credit, used a lot of really good shadowing and stuff in the films where you don't ever really see that much of Freddy till the very end of the movie, and even then it's kind of like dark, and it's just the way that it's shot is really, really good. So in the Blu-ray, like it looks, you never taken out of the movie by the fact that you can see too much of the appliances, and the appliances look in this film like I was watching Part 4, and that the shit that he's wearing in Part 4 is almost like too comical and like glossy looking. Like it looks like, it looks like an appliance that somebody's wearing that somebody just smeared KY jelly and shit on. But in this film, it kind of looks like it's all like fucked up and jagged, and there's like pieces hanging on. A lot more
bloody it looked like too. So, but the Blu-ray itself, and people out there, I'm sure a lot of people on YouTube or listen to the show, you have Nightmare on Elm Street in your collection. Odds are, if you're a diehard horror fan, you've got the box set or you've got the titles individually or whatever. So you're wondering, is this worth the upgrade? This is at Walmart for like $15. I'm thinking most places. I think as far as the visual, the look of the movie, if you want to see, and to me, I'm just a fan of all these classic movies. If they release them, anything Halloween, Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw, Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm going to get it on Blu-ray. I don't give a shit what it is. So I would, and as the look of this movie, the transfer of this Blu-ray, I thought was unreal. Like it deserves all of the praise that it's getting, I think, because it's just like, it's really like watching the movie again for the first time, because there's a lot of stuff. I think the colors in the movie are really a lot clearer, a lot brighter. And even the dark scenes and stuff like that, it makes it more creepy to me.
Yeah, the transfer of the film is really, really good. And you really notice it in the more, just like with any Blu-ray, in the more well-lit places of the film, like when they're just the kids out hanging around in the sunshine and stuff, and you really, really notice the detail of stuff that goes on in the film. Jesus, I can't really. I can't imagine anybody not wanting to have this film. Like, there's a couple of films that when they come out on Blu-ray, you pretty much have to get them. Like Friday the 13th is one of them. I think Dawn of the Dead, Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You got to buy like these films on Blu-ray.
They're the classics.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say, as far as the transfer, the look of the film, the sound, all that stuff was great. Now, I think, honestly, though, that like as far as the extra features and all that stuff, from what I can tell, was recycled from the Infinifilm DVD.
Yeah, but I tell you one thing though, as I was rewatching the special features on this, they've got a couple of alternate endings for the film, and that's the one thing that's always been considered the weakness of the film was the ending, and I gotta agree with that in a way, because the ending is kind of fucking stupid for a film that was like that great. It was almost perfect film all the way through, and then you get to the ending, and there's an ending on there where it's just they drive off in the fucking car, the mother's outside, she looks over and she sees the kids jumping rope and they're doing the 1-2 Freddy's coming. Why the fuck couldn't it ended like that? It would have been perfect. Like, I don't understand that. Like,
well, they had to get a little dummy and get Freddy to drag her through the.
Yeah, there was nothing like there was none of the stuff about the door locking or any shit like that. It just they drove off, and the mom was like, "Oh, they're driving off," and then you look over there and you know something's going. Yeah,
get a blow up doll. That's really what it looks like too. It looks like a fucking blow up doll dragging through.
But anyway, you get to see stuff like that on here. The other special features are 2 commentaries, one with the director. Wes Craven, Heather Langenkamp, John Saxon, and the cinematographer. And then the second one with Wes Craven, Robert Englund, Langenkamp, Ronnie Blakely, who plays the mother, Robert Shea, the producer, and the co-producer. You got a couple alternate endings. You got 3 featurettes. The House That Freddy Built, which is I think it's like a 50-minute documentary, which is pretty good. Never Sleep Again, The Making of a Nightmare on Elm Street, which is also pretty good. Night Terrors, The Origin of Wes Craven's Nightmares. So these are all featurettes on the new Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's a great Blu-ray. The one thing though that sort of bothered me a little bit was there was no mention of them doing anything with the sequels and giving any sort of special features to the sequels. Releasing why not release a Blu-ray box set?
I'm sorry.
Why not release a Blu-ray box set of all of the Elm Street movies in a set?
I don't know. I kind of thought that was what they were going to do when they announced the box set that was coming out for the remake and all that, but no.
Why they won't do that?
They decided they were just going to put out the same box set they did 10 years ago or whatever and put Jackie Earle Haley on.
I guess there's always a chance of them maybe doing that when the Blu-ray of the remake comes out or something. They might do that in conjunction with that, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Honestly, though, if any series of films needed special editions, it's the Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, all the Friday the 13th films have special editions. Almost all, except for maybe 2 of the Halloween films, have special editions. All the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films have special. Why the hell is there and those are some of the most beloved movies, like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4. Like, why the fuck are there no special editions?
Well, part of the reason is Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers must be just completely fucking retarded or something.
Yeah, they could make a ton of money if they would do this stuff in conjunction, like Halloween release, the Nightmare on Elm Street box set on Blu-ray. They'd make a goddamn fortune if they had like extras and stuff on it. But anyway, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Blu-ray, highly recommend you guys picking it up. $15 at Walmart, most locations from what I understand, so be on the lookout for that. We appreciate you guys, though, for tuning in this week. Hope you guys liked the Sean Clark interview. If not, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, as always, though, I mean, that guy was great to talk to. It went on for a lot longer than that, but, we couldn't, of course, include everything in it, but, yeah, we
could have. We'd probably got in trouble.
We always, thank him for that, though.
Anyway, we will be back next week with another heaping helping of that horror talk radio goodness over at DEADPIT.com. Heaping helping of fucking shit. I'm gonna kick your goddamn ass. I'm gonna kick your butt, baby. And we're gonna talk to a bunch of people. Hey, the way you stand, Aaron. What's that big fella? Turn that camera off. Oh, I didn't turn it off, did I? Oh, no, I left the camera on there.